and welcome back. Our final session for the marketing track today focuses on building your marketing tech stack. Please welcome Cor Loya, who is the digital marketing and e-commerce consultant from Pickle Consulting, who will be moderating this session. Please do send in your questions into the live discussion section that's just to the right of this video, or underneath the video if you're using your mobile phone. Cor, over to you.
Thank you, Yarrow. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our session this afternoon. I guess I'll start off with an introduction on the topic for this afternoon. So during the pandemic, businesses across industries were pushed into looking into launching and going deeper into their digital marketing strategies and upskilling their team and ensuring the readiness of their team for the technology. But more importantly, utilizing MarTech as a way to fast-track their execution. MarTech actually supports businesses in 6 essential functions. These would be scaling, communication, hyper-personalization, optimization, insight, planning, and productivity. This afternoon, let's meet our guests and learn how their marketing stack has benefited their businesses. Giving the floor to our panelists to share a brief introduction about their business and how they started in building their own tech stack. Maybe you can start with Caroline, and then Mags, Mark, and then Dirk. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, thank you, Cora, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carolyn Asuncion, and I am the e-commerce head with Silka Coffee. We are a roastery based in Silang, Cavite, supplying supermarkets, restaurants, hotel, and as of the pandemic, we started our online stores. Our brands are Kickstart Coffee, Silcafe, X and Y, among others. And I'm also the founder of Bread PH, a subscription bread, coffee, and milk service that I started also during the pandemic. So those interested in F&B and selling food online, please feel free to ask me any questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Mag Salvador. I'm the head of online channels and marketing for Universal Holidays Incorporated. As you know, during the pandemic, the travel industry has really been hit so bad, but it didn't stop us. Our marketing initiatives went through, and we belong in a one conglomerate, and I handle some of the brands, Adventure International Tours, which handles premium cruises and travel packages. Universal Holidays is more known as a Japan market travel agency. We have launched our first, very first mobile app for Japan visa processing, I think 2 years ago. And our e-commerce site for travel is tripmobile.com. So yeah, I think building the marketing technology stack would really be helpful for any businesses during the pandemic and afterwards. Thank you.
Mark?
Thanks, Cor. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a rainy afternoon here in Manila. So I'm Mark Conshaw. I've actually worked with Cor previously in Voyager Innovations Paymaya in marketing and e-commerce. So I've had more than almost 20 years in telco. I headed marketing for PLDT Broadband, Internet and Future Services, Content VAS, Small Medium Business. Then I was also head vice president of marketing at Digital Sun Cellular and product development. And then I worked with Cor in Voyager Innovations Paymaya, heading e-commerce. And now I have my own e-commerce startup, social e-commerce startup called Reselly. So what's Reselly all about? Well, we started Reselly 2 years ago. It's all about providing digital livelihood to Filipinos. Zero puhunan, so no capital needed. Zero capital needed. So, which is very relevant right now. A lot of Filipinos, unfortunately, have lost their jobs or are underemployed. So with Reselly, all they have to do is download our mobile app and they can resell thousands of products without having to buy inventory. And we take care of everything else from delivery, picking up the products from the merchant, delivering it, customer service, and releasing the commissions to our resellers. So that's what Reselly is all about. And looking forward, I believe that data, understanding your customers, data analytics is very important, especially for our resellers, training them on how to sell online. So it's a privilege for me to be part of this panel. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dirk. I'm Digital Marketing Manager of Security Bank. I've been in the fintech industry for more than 5 years already. So you know about Security Bank already. It's one of the most trusted bank, local bank in the Philippines. Actually, last 2020, we received an award during pandemic that we are the Asian bankers strongest bank in the bank strongest bank in the Philippines in 2020. And last 2021, we were awarded as Philippines Best Bank for from 2020 Euro Money Awards for Excellence. So we've been doing a lot of shifting automation here at Security Bank, and I'm happy to share what we've been going through and what we did so we can be more visible and increase our performance in online in digital.
All right. Thank you so much for the introductions there. So we have a mix of retail, B2B2C, travel and finance industry for this afternoon. So I think let's go right ahead with the first question, and the audience can also share with us their experience and their industry. So we will have a interactive discussion on what marketing stack or what tools have helped you during this pandemic. So I guess on the first question, what are the new tools that enable hyper-personalized, on-demand, and omni-channel customer journeys for your businesses? And what was the major shift that you needed to do during this pandemic? I guess because of the scale of the business, I would address this first question to Dirk, but anyone else can reply.
Okay. In Security Bank, usually do automations. We look for marketing automation tools like Ad Astra that can recognize triggers or drop-offs and encourage people to continue their application or purchase or whatever action in favor of the business or brand. The latest that we have purchased was Google Dialog Flow, which is we improve our chatbot. So here they can actually check their application status for new to bank customers, and for existing bank to customers already via chat, they can update their contact details in just a chat or mobile email and landed purely via chatbot. So that's one of the things that we upgraded. And even before pandemic, for example, for our credit cards, we do end-to-end online transactions already. So the customer doesn't need to go to the branch or now open an account for them to purchase a bank product. So it's purely end-to-end, and we deliver it also in their respective houses.
Oh, so the communication there is end-to-end using the chatbot, meaning I can apply for an account communicating with the chatbot.
Now we're working on that part, but for now the automation is for the application status and for
Status.
the changing of the contact details. But via website that we have, we created forms that is automated already. For example, when they're applying for any loans, business loans, it's usually via form, and then the rest will be continuous via online na din. So it's end-to-end. The credit card is end-to-end. The other loans were half end-to-end online, and they just need to go to the branch pa still, but fewer seconds na.
I see. Okay. Mads, because you're in the travel industry, I guess you would have some insights as well on this.
Yes, so initially we needed to find out where we lack processes and where we can do things differently and choose the technology based on that. I think for our industry, what we did is we were able to address our omni-channel strategy by having a customer relationship management tool that's already integrated to our social media accounts and email marketing tool. Because previously we didn't have that. I think it helped us more to get data on understanding the customer behaviors right now. Where do they want to go? Do they really want to travel even during the pandemic? And so on and so forth. So I think initially we have to know what we need first before we'd be able to identify what tools to buy.
Agree.
Yep.
Okay. Mark, did you want to add on the side of the B2B2C?
Okay, well, our biggest challenge really, our focus really is our resellers. So for example, we have a partnership with DSWD. We signed a contract with Secretary Bautista for their 17 million beneficiaries. We also signed with Happy Noi. A lot of them are sari-sari stores. So the profile of our resellers are non-techies. Most of them are non-techies. So we do appreciate, we do understand that data is very important to understand your customers. But the challenge we gave our team in resale, our dev team, was how do you present data, marketing data, and customer analytics in such a way that it's easy for our resellers, for the target market, for our core target market to understand and apply it so that they're able to earn, they're able to sell online and earn income or earn commissions. So that was our biggest challenge. So some of the things that some for reference materials, if you're familiar with Meesho in India, so it's also a reseller model. They empower more than 5 million Indian women. They're a startup also, and Facebook invested in them last year. So they're using a lot of the analytics and data tools of Facebook, but they're presenting it in such a simple and easy way for the resellers to understand and apply for their target marketers, target audience, so that they're able to make more sales. Another example is, has anybody heard of Pinduoduo in China? It's a 6-year-old startup. Pinduoduo. Imagine a 6-year-old startup overtaking Alibaba and JD, the two giants of e-commerce, 20-year-old, almost $1 trillion valuation companies with all the money in the world. How can a 6-year-old startup do that? Well, if you talk to their president, their founder, Colin Wong, he said, Pinduoduo stands for making it fun. He tried to make the whole experience fun. Gamify the whole experience of buying and doing group buy. So we said, why can't we apply that also to when we present data and marketing analytics? We try to make the learning process fun for our resellers, so that they don't get overwhelmed by all this marketing data, customer data, analytics. But then they treat it as a game. Then it becomes fun to learn and fun to apply as well. So that's our challenge. That's what we're developing right now. From basic analytics such as what time do customers of our resellers log in, what are the most common products that they buy, what time should a reseller follow up with their customers. So try to present that data in a very easy to use manner. That's what we're doing right now. I hope that helps answer the question.
Yeah. Okay. Carolyn, on the side of retail, the retail e-commerce as well, how are you able to enable hyper-personalized tools, or what do you use for your customer journey?
Yeah, sure. Funny, when I first read this, I said, oh, we can't personalize bread yet, but when that day comes, we'll be there. I think the most important tool that we've used in terms of personalization and automation is the nature of our product. Being a consumable is, and also that people buy relatively the same thing week to week, is to really implement auto invoicing. So that's really been one of the most important tools for us. It's just been a very big added convenience for the customers. And then I actually didn't really think of this too much, but it is something we use that Dirkie brought up, was the bots. All of our marketplaces use bots for CS. And then on BreadPH, we really need to, our demo is a little bit older than most e-commerce websites, I'd say, in the Philippines. We are available on every single CS channel that you could think of. We have people call, which is really unusual for having an e-commerce website. But if your customers want to be there, you need to be there. So don't be afraid to go old school sometimes.
Yeah, because as Filipinos are very, I guess, in terms of communicating with their customers, we want it face to face. We need to have like a warm body talking to us over the other end of the channel. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for those answers. I guess in terms of how we've enabled hyper personalization, there would be steps as identifying the objective, like what is needed before going into that, making it fun, like Mark said. So making it fun, getting the data there. In terms of organizing and orchestrating a way to do it. Could be chatbot or other technologies to personalize the experience with the customer. Now, moving into the next question would be, how important would be these data that you have gathered for your businesses in terms of getting more businesses, I guess, in the future? Or why do we need to invest more in them? Like, what is the key priority in terms of budgeting that you would invest more in tools and data and in data analytics for this? So this question is open to all. Anyone can answer the question.
Yeah,
Okay, let me start.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
do you want to start, please, Mags? Yeah, the ladies first.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, very. I think we all agree that it's very important, the data analytics. Well, actually, it helps us optimize our performances in terms of what campaigns and what destinations we want to promote. During this time, the tool also helps us analyze our current marketing strategies, if it's effective or not. But as Mark said earlier, the presentation of the analytics should really be fun, simple, and interesting, so that your marketing team would also be able to really find ways on how to improve the sales or the conversion, because there are different objectives. Sometimes marketing campaigns is just there for brand awareness, and you prepare a different set of objectives if you want the content to be, if your goal would be for conversions. So really, we have to do the work. We map out our plan, and only when we have a very defined need should we consider yung purchasing a new data analytics tool, because sometimes whatever it is, it's available in the market and free. Small and medium companies can actually already make use of it and maximize its use already there.
Yes, I agree on that. There's a lot of free trial available as well. Making use of that. Anyone else like to add in?
Okay, I'll add. So since our startup's all about social e-commerce and livelihood, of course, our focus are helping Filipinos earn additional income. Now, just quick background: we told ourselves, if Pinduoduo can overtake Alibaba and become the biggest e-commerce company in China in terms of monthly active users because of the power of social e-commerce, and the average Chinese person in China spends only 2 hours a day on social media, why not here in the Philippines, diba? Or we are the social media capital of the world. The average Filipino spends 4.7 hours a day on social media. So if Pinduoduo and Misho can grow so fast using the power of social e-commerce, which is all about relationships, on their social networks, why not here in the Philippines? So how do we capitalize that and use that to be able to help our Filipinos earn additional income during this pandemic? So, okay, let's go to data now, data analytics. All right. So some of the data that we try to present to our resellers in a fun way, a bite-sized and fun way is, okay, so number one, if you're a reseller, you already have a lot of friends on Facebook, okay? But the question is, what do you sell to them? Okay, what product do you sell to them? So when somebody signs up for reselling, we look at their profile, they register. So sex, male, female, age, birthday, etc. Then depending on their profile, our platform automatically pushes the recommended products. So if you're a female, let's say 20 to 30 years old, then we automatically recommend that you sell beauty products, beauty and health, versus a male, probably more of electronic items, etc. So that alone, making them recommendations of what products to sell, I think that will help. The number two is, now, did the recommended products actually help them close a sale or not? Maybe for the first few sales, our learnings was, they will probably buy from you because they're your boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, dad, relative, or close friend. But later on, do they actually make repeat purchases from you? Then we look at the data and say, okay, who were the people who made repeat purchases from you, and what products did they buy, and what time of day, and all that? Then we feed it to our resellers. Again, in a fun, gamified way. So we have actually daily and weekly missions. So if you follow our recommendations, if you follow the data, you use the analytics tools that we provide you, then we reward you as well. Then it becomes more fun, engaging, and exciting for them to sell and earn commissions. Number three is that's on the marketing. That's on the marketing and sales side. Of course, I'm oversimplifying this a bit. Second is on the operational side. Of course, as a startup business, very important for us is we need to be able to optimize our operations. We don't have the big budget of a big company like Security Bank. Although, congratulations to Dirk and his team for being the best digital bank for the last year. But how do we optimize our budget? So number two is we depend a lot on we source products from our suppliers. So we have two key products: fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are our hero products. So it's part of our vision to help farmers. Now, for farmers, it's very fragmented. So from the farmer all the way up to the buyer, you have 7 layers of middlemen. Now, the reason why farmers are not able to, I'm simplifying this a bit, it's because of the reason why they're not able to go straight to the buyers in Metro Manila is, of course, you have logistics, you have financing, and then you have lack of information. So farmers are not able to match the demand in Metro Manila versus the supply. So of course, it would help a farmer before they plant, let's say, potatoes or cabbages or carrots, if they're able to know exactly how much demand there is from the buyer market. And that's where Resally tries to help. We try to provide data to our farmer cooperatives so that they're able to plant their crops better and be more efficient, as well as just-in-time inventory, etc., to optimize our operations. So that's where data comes in. So we're able to match market demand with supply, and hopefully, because of the more efficient processes, we're able to increase the margins and provide lower prices for our buyers and higher commissions for our resellers. So,
Yeah,
thank you.
That's a good way to go about it. Did you have any challenges though, Mark, in terms of having to overlap, in terms of the number of resellers, or is there a way that you can also match the reselling to the type of products that they're selling?
Well, there definitely will be overlap, among the resellers. So discard in the end. So it's really up to, part of our training is, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Not everybody will be successful here. But if you follow our training, if you listen to our recommendations, if you take the time to understand, go through the analytics and understand your customers better, then you have a higher chance to succeed. So we actually have resellers who are neighbors who live in the same barangay, but one of them is much more successful than the other. And I guess it's because of they take the time to go through the training materials, understand the customers through analytics, and apply it when they sell the products that we recommend.
Yeah. So the benefit is actually on the matching. So knowing the data and matching it with the correct seller, and then being able to, I guess, sell it to a network of people that you have in your like social media. Okay. Anyone else wanted to add? Yeah, sure.
Okay, can I speak na? Here in Security Bank, what we usually, since I'm part of the performance marketing team, so we all know that data analytics tools are really important with the business. So what we did is, as a marketer, we don't just check on the numbers on the marketing side. So we see numbers end to end, starting from the leads that we're giving from them, up to how many applications that they got, up to how many people are actually converted into sales. So since you speak about match keys, we connect our data from the data of the business unit that we're handling and match things out. And Viola, we can see now where channels they are coming from, at what specific ad they are coming from, and eventually from those decisions that we got and from those decisions data that we match, we can actually decide more on at what channels are we going to increase our budget on, at what channels are we going to decrease on or stop on. So that's how we do use data here in Security Bank.
Okay. It's very important. Now going to, I guess let's jump into the next, where we talk about challenges in adopting. So now, for example, we have the new technology on board, like you have your spanking new tool, how do you now address the challenges involved in your businesses and adoption of this new tool in the organization? This is especially true in, I guess, in the case of more businesses that have legacy products or products or tools that have been used over the years and now have the need to change into a new platform or a new technology. So how did you go about addressing these changes and adapting to the new technology? Maybe Dirk, you would want to share in
So
case of
since we
Security
are a
Bank.
local bank, and when I get in Security Bank before, there are a lot of manual operations that occurring. So it's very common to us that we're shifting from manual to automated thing. And what we did first is to impart to people that change is okay, change is for the better, and we actually make a culture of being challenging the status quo and innovation. So it's one of our core values here in the bank, and we really make sure that people are not hesitant to change and always welcoming to suggest for more what things are we should be improving. And of course, the top executives uh, are very open-minded into welcoming new ideas. Actually, we have a thing also that we're actually hiring also outside the bank. So, kasi most of the time they are just getting people from the same industry, but hiring people outside banking industry actually bring us new ideas in the bank. And yeah, that's it. So we apply it to transform. How are we going to make it integrated here in the bank? So that's how we do it.
Yeah. So thinking outside the box and opening to other people who may not be in the banking industry, but may apply ideas from their own industry.
Yes.
Yeah. Would anyone else like to add in to the challenges of adopting?
I just like to add for because this is like the opposite side of this coin for the SMEs. We've adopted kind of a different strategy for this, because what we found when I was working for a bigger company is the resistance usually comes when a new software or something is given as a directive, like it's placed on you. You have the onus and responsibility to learn the software. You're not really, sometimes it's not unclear why you have to learn it, and you don't feel like it's really improving your workflow. So what I've done is I've told my team, if you can find something that does your job better, then you present it to me, and we're going to make a plan to test it and see if this in fact does improve it. So we create parameters for what considers the test successful from a cost and productivity standpoint. And then if it meets those, we meet and decide that if we're going to move forward or not. So once we move forward, then there's virtually no resistance. And the great thing about this is you can usually do it in the span of a free trial of something.
Yes. That's a good way to go about it. It's opening up to your team members, getting their inputs. Anyway, they'll be the ones using it, right? So might as well have them share insights. Max?
I agree with Carol. So really the team needs to understand first what they need, and they have to know how to do it manually before they can actually automate it. And it helps that if the team is in charge of looking out for what technology tool would eventually help them, it's better for the rest of the team. So what we did naman for us, find a lead marketer who's going to be responsible for the deployment of at each tool. So we give them the resources that they need for them to implement it successfully. The lead marketer should see the value of what the tool really is, so that the rest of the team would work on learning and understanding the system too. So streamlining their day-to-day operations and making things easier for them. Then afterwards, we cascade it to the rest of the team for the specific tool. So everyone in the team must be on the same page. And then we also do it like from top to bottom. The presidents, everyone should understand.
They
where
should
you
know how to use it.
Yes. So that when there's something new, the team can move to push and implement new tools with as little friction as possible.
Yes. Everyone can be a digital adopted. Not everyone is a digital native, but everyone can be digital, like
Change is good.
correct. Yes, change is good. Okay. My next question would actually be a more tricky one. So moving into, okay, we've adopted the technology and the tools, but in terms of, I guess, getting the buy-in. So once you do the cascade and the knowledge sharing with the team that's going to use this technology, then how do you demonstrate the importance of a solid marketing tech stack to the stakeholders who may or may not be using this technology? How do you convince or set up the justification for, I guess, the budget allocation for it? Would you like to start this discussion? I guess Carolyn or Derek, or have any insights on it, or Max?
Okay, I can start.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we usually do is organic and paid digital marketing initiatives are cut from the same cloth. So what does that mean? They employ the same concept of relying on data-driven decisions to create incremental up to marginal impact. So we start small, get proof of concept, and double down on what worked for you. Once you show them the numbers and they speak about the performance, then the next logical thing to do is to invest. So we do it that way.
Okay, that's good. Small experiments with data to prove. Yeah, I agree with that. Carolyn, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, actually ours is remarkably similar, which we're all very lucky here being in e-commerce that we can very easily measure how far our spend goes. So really just return on any kind of marketing spend on pretty much almost everything we do has some sort of cost and revenue direct relationship. So we'll usually give a time period of like a month or a quarter, at least 1 month, but usually a quarter, and then say if it can do this, if X can perform Y, then we'll continue, if not, stop. So it's a very simple equation.
Anyone else want to add? Mark, do you have insights on getting buy-in, even if you're the CEO? How do you get the funding for the tech tool?
Well, the proof of the pie is in the pudding. Of course, our focus is always our resellers, making sure that they're earning money. So we provide them with the analytics, the tools, and then you'd be surprised. Some resellers are able to earn thousands, and some resellers are not able to, earn any money. So based on those small experiments, I agree with what Dirk was sharing earlier. We try to conduct small experiments, and then we share best practice across all our resellers as part of our training programs. This reseller was able to make, let's say, 50,000 pesos for this month. How did she do it? Because she took time, she applied the analytics, she understood her customers, what they were buying, and then she shared. She told her customers to make referrals to their friends as well. Let's say to buy fruits and vegetables, and then she followed through. We shared, for example, she found out that. I'll give it a concrete example. We had one reseller, 10-year-old boy, Ruben. Okay, his name's Ruben. He's a 10-year-old boy selling fruits and vegetables. I met him outside of Starbucks. So I told him, Ruben, instead of you selling, waiting outside Starbucks and there are hardly any customers because of the lockdown, why just download the Resell app and sell your fruits and vegetables online through Resell? Just attend the training courses, understand your customers, etc. And guess what? From earning an average of 2,000 pesos a month, he's now earning more than 2,000 pesos a day through Resell. And that's because, that's part of the training. So what I told him was, Ruben, you have to share your story. You have a very inspiring story. You're a 10-year-old kid, the eldest of 3 kids. Your dad lost his job as a driver for a bank. I won't mention the bank's name. Okay. It's not Security Bank.
Okay.
And then your mom owns a sari store. Okay, but she's sick, so she can't really work. So as the eldest of three kids, you have to help support your family. So share that story. You do a selfie video, you upload it to your reselling online store, and then you share it. Normally, peak viewing hours are lunchtime. Okay, for Filipinos, 11:30 it starts at 11:30 to 2 p.m. and then 5:30 p.m. onward. So that's the time that you start sharing. Then number two, you try to understand. Okay, who are the people who are buying from your reselling online store? Okay, so then he found out, okay, the profile are mostly female. I don't know, maybe females have a softer heart, are more generous. Okay, so female, okay. And then this is a bit more advanced, and we supported Ruben a bit here. Okay, so if your target audience are females, they visit your online store at this time, then you create a Facebook page and you boost post this. Then we subsidize his boost posting so that he can target more of his audience. And then what are the top products that females buy from your store? So that's what you push. Okay, we have other recommended products that you can add to your online store as well. So small experiments, and then we share this best practice to other resellers in our network as well. And they got excited. If this 10-year-old kid can do it, can earn thousands, by trying it, then why not? Yeah, why not them as well? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I guess that's the best buy-in there, like a customer successfully being able to use your product. I guess the stakeholders would definitely say yes to that if they see the results from the customers. That's great. Thanks for sharing that, Mark. How about for I guess in terms of the technologies that are seamlessly being integrated with your businesses, how does this now then complement, or I guess work alongside legacy products? So for example, if you're an e-commerce seller, like doing manual sheets before, like typing in your credit and debit in a notebook, then how would this now affect you being so used to it and then moving into a new, I guess, new method, new tool of going about recording sales and data? So did you encounter any challenges, and how were you able to seamlessly implement these technologies to your legacy products as well? I guess I would start off with maybe with Mags, because in terms of travel has been around e-commerce for a long time. Like the reservations and booking of flights and tours has always been around. But how did you go about starting this, and what were the legacy products that you had to, I guess, change or shift or work alongside these new tools that you have now?
Yeah, so actually, it accelerated our digital transformation initiatives when pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So travel agencies are closed since March 2020 during the lockdown. So like people, instead of going to our offices, now calls us. So that was a problem then. But now we've improved and revamped our websites to be able to handle queries and chats. So that's what we did. And people are now, we're seeing that they're already comfortable talking through our chat boxes, our FB messengers, our Instagram messengers. So slowly we're able to introduce to the traveling public that, because in the Philippines, people still makes use of travel agents, the traditional ones, because they don't really want to do their own package tour. They want to talk to a travel agent for them to be able to create a tour that's more fit for their family and for their wants and needs. So what we did is start with all our brands, create totally new websites for them that would be able to answer each of the journey or of the marketing funnel stages. So our websites are now equipped with chatbots. Our social media messenger apps is already connected also to our CRM. We also have our own CRM tool now that can actually put all the transactions or the increase that we're getting at any online platform into one database. So it really helped the team to work with the very minimum number of travelers that's interested to do travel right now. I think it's important that when we also decide what tools to implement, we have to consider if it can actually integrate, because sometimes there are technology solutions that offers you like promises that you get more leads, you can generate more leads by transferring into this new tool. But however, if it does not integrate to whatever it is that you're actually using right now, it may require additional 1 or 2 persons more to move leads from one system to another. So this will cut into productivity. The manual data entry will dirty your marketing database. So at the end of the day, it's more work than getting what you really want. So we also have to be careful what to add or what tools to add on our existing legacy tools that we're using both for operations and marketing actually.
Yes. Yeah. Agree to that. That's why tech needs to be involved in the discussion as well.
Right.
Dirk,
True.
did you wanted to add as well? Thank you for that, Max.
Usually, internally, we do documentation of the new tools. So whenever there's something new, we always have this guide or Bible where we can check back or look back. So all the thing that we're doing is standard, and we are assured that everyone is doing it the way it should be. So because whenever working in a certain tool, how you use the tool reflect the data that you get from that specific tool. So we make sure that it's standard, and we hire somebody, or there's somebody who is checking about the quality of how we do things there. And more importantly, it is set for everyone the accountability thing, that whenever you see an error of somebody or your coworker who did this, then you are actually checking each other, so we can prevent wrong data to be gathered.
Yes, agree on that. Anyway, we have some questions actually from the audience. So I would like to take this time to ask the question from the audience as well. In the context of using data analytics to customize user experience when profiling customers based on the demographic that they belong to, has overfitting ever posed a challenge? And if so, how did you mitigate it? I guess by overfitting, meaning like exceeded or overqualified the customized user experience, or in the context of the data that was gathered, it's not within this demographic or this customization, then how do you mitigate this?
I can start.
Okay.
So in the early days of RedPH, at the very beginning of the pandemic, we could only service one very small area, and we were having a lot of orders coming in from outside that area. So one solution to, if I understand the question correctly, with overfitting, meaning that it's your sample size is too small, is we started geofencing. So if you can geofence your site or certain parts of your site or your service, that will prevent certain offerings from going to the wrong people. And you can also do it on like a per product or per collection basis. So that's what we did.
Yes, that's correct. Anyone else wanted to add to this question?
Based on my experience, we usually use exclude audiences, or we exclude those people that are current customers whenever we're targeting a new set of audiences. So that makes our cost lesser, and we will not target other people or audiences outside which of what we are really targeting.
Okay. I guess to add to that question for the rest of the panelists this afternoon, did you also need to take a different approach in terms of B2B marketing versus B2C? Like for example, for Caroline, in the case of subscription for, I guess some of those that avail of the subscription would actually be corporations or maybe hospitals. Did you have a different approach in terms of using technology for B2B versus B2C?
Yeah, definitely. I think so this is probably more fit for the stores that I run for Silka Coffee. Because Silka Coffee, especially pre-pandemic, was primarily a B2B business, although we do have our brands in the supermarket. So what ended up happening too in the transition is a lot of the smaller SMEs and hotels, restaurants, well, of course, they all closed at first, but when they started opening up, they needed a fast and reliable solution to purchase smaller quantities than before and with more flexible payment terms. So online was definitely the solution for that. And in terms of marketing to them, of course, I would really start with customizing your ad creative on all channels. So whether that's paid search, paid social, and really know who you're speaking to. Just like as a very concrete example, like if I'm selling to a hotel in Boracay and make ads that say I have coffee for hotels in Boracay, and I can get it to you fast. So really just speaking to them directly in that way, and then adjusting your messaging according to your customers. So maybe for your customers, it's, do you need coffee for work at home? Try Kickstart Coffee. We've got XYZ and so on and so forth. So I think adjusting the messaging from a creative and ad targeting level, but also at a distribution level. So maybe on a B2B side for the bigger companies, your organization might use something like Salesforce and just email. But when you look at your B2C strategy, you might even do text message. So yeah, just always think about what your customer needs and where they are.
Yes. Knowing the customer. KYC is very important.
Yes.
Mark, did you also want to add, or Dirk, did you want to add for Security Bank and how you were able to do B2B, B2C approach?
Okay, just like what Kara said, just to emphasize more, we take approach differently by means of doing segment targeting, different content. For example, for business loans, it's a different set of targets, target people. When it comes to credit cards, it's totally different. It's more of younger ones who usually take the credit cards. So it differs from the content, tone, and more often than that is the platform. So since there are a lot of arising platforms nowadays, so definitely you need to know where your target audience are coming from and where are they staying, at what communities they are being with or part of. So yeah, that's it.
Yes, agree. So I would like to open the question to to the rest of our panelists, but we have very few minutes left for this. So I guess I will just start off with the close by asking our panelists, what would be your prediction in the next 3 to 5 years in your own industry? What trend do you think we will be talking about in the next Seamless Philippines, say 2025? We can start off, I guess, with Mark.
Thanks, Core. Well, for e-commerce, and this is my fearless prediction, of course, being a social e-commerce advocate, and since the Philippines is #1 in the world when it comes to social network usage, social media usage, my prediction is that just like in China and India, social e-commerce will overtake traditional e-commerce models here in the Philippines, and hopefully resale will be part of that. By providing livelihood through our social e-commerce platform to millions of Filipinos affected by the pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Derek, since you're on mute. Okay, Max. Max, do you want to go?
Okay. Usually, what I'm really seeing on the digital part is voice search will definitely increase from year to year. So we will be transforming from typing it what you wanted to look for into speaking it out. So I think that's the trend that we should be looking at when it comes to SEO and all.
Yeah, for,
Yes,
for the
voice it.
travel industry, I think it's really hard for most of the travel companies right now. But we really all have to move online and digital and, open e-commerce sites. And we really have to understand how e-commerce really would work for the travel industry, because as of now, like the majority of the owners are like single proprietorship or personal businesses, that sometimes the investment or infrastructure for an e-commerce site would really be high. So, but I think the industry already understand that that's where the consumers are going. So we need to be in that space as well. And similar to what Mark mentioned earlier, like with us, we also have initiatives now for helping the grassroots, talking with local tour activity providers, and being able to where can we help them soon. So I think that would also be what to watch out for next year. If we're able to really capture that local activity providers, then we can share with Seamless again next year how we're doing on that, because that's the next step that I think we would wanna take also.
That's nice. Enabling the smaller tour operators. Thanks,
Yep.
Mags. Carolyn?
I think a lot of the existing friction, because I know we've come a long way in the last 18 months, but I think a lot of the existing friction will be gone. And then from a food and beverage standpoint, I think that they're going to remove a lot of the barriers. So right now, everyone's so used to Food Panda and ordering, like, grab me this or that, but we still have to make a decision. What am I going to eat? I think it's going to become so personalized that it will make a decision for you that you'd be happy with. Like, so everything will just be so much easier. So I think the food will level up in that way.
Yes, I agree. So I guess in terms of the trends we've seen here, that the future is very bright for digital, and everyone needs to actually jumpstart into it if you haven't, or keep investing, experimenting in terms of the strategy and what needs is within your customer, and what other opportunities are out there. So I would like to thank our panelists this afternoon, Carolyn, Mags, Dirk, and Mark, for sharing their insights on the marketing technologies that they use and has benefited their business. We hope that this session has also greatly influenced you. Remember that you can still connect and ask questions to our speakers and guests this afternoon through the Seamless platform, as well as maybe just to close this session, I guess, in terms of recapping the inputs of our panelists in terms of going into your marketing, building your marketing tech stack, the most important of which is organizing an objective, coming up with your business objective, knowing your customer, and refining the communications to them in a way that addresses their needs, where they are, what platform they are using, and what technology they are more adaptive to or responsive to, and then go about conducting smaller experiments to help in creating a data-driven collection or strategy that you can present to stakeholders and eventually get the budget, secure the budget, and then do a knowledge sharing with your team so that everyone is adapting and using this technology as well. So with that, maybe I would like to turn over the floor back to Yarrow.
Thank you, everyone, for that very insightful discussion. If any attendees, if anyone has any more questions for the panelists, please do connect with them in the platform. Also, do remember to check out our exhibition hall and do network with the other attendees and speakers by clicking on the Attendees and Speakers tab. Our keynote will be starting shortly, so please do stay tuned for that. Again, I would like to thank everyone for coming and sharing their insights and experience. Please enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.